The first time I met Rhett, I had pretty high expectations because his reputation had already preceded him. I'd heard about him from a bunch of women I'd been hanging out with at a girls' event, and they'd all been just raving about him and talking about this thing he does called FlameTree and how they'd had amazing results with it. And I'd never heard of FlameTree, so I was like, well, what is it? What does it do? And all of them were saying, well, it's incredible, but it's really hard to explain what it does exactly, how it works. And so it left me curious, wondering what that was all about. So when I finally had a chance to meet Rhett, I had this perception that he was going to be some kind of guru, a little bit mystical. And then he walked into the room and it was like some dude just stepped out of a ute into a pub. He was just so down to earth and pragmatic, and we had this really interesting chat. And when I went to see him, the experience was really fascinating, and I understood then why they'd been saying it's hard to explain how it works, because now I'm one of those people. It is hard to explain how it works, but it's quite an intuitive process. And one of the things that came up for me, Rhett was saying, you're having difficulty with motivation and you're not very focused at the moment. And that's really unusual for me, but it was true. At that time I was, and I was stuck on a particular project, just couldn't get it going. And he said to me, well, this session is going to clear that for you. And tonight you might have trouble sleeping because you'll have all these ideas in your head. And I normally sleep like a rock. So when I got home that night and went to bed, I thought, this should be fine, I'll drop off. And I was expecting to hit the pillow and fall asleep just like every other night. And instead my eyes went, and then my brain was going crazy with all these ideas. And I did not sleep well that night. And the next morning I got up and I was just like a mad woman implementing all these thoughts I'd had during the night. And I thought, oh, great, I'm glad I've got that out of my system and now I can get back to normal. But then it happened again and then again. And this went on for 2 or 3 weeks. And I finally went back to Rhett and I was like, Rhett, please, I'm dying here. Can you please move me along to the next thing so I can get some sleep? And that's what it's been like. It's so interesting. Like the things that come up in these sessions, I don't know what to expect. But when they come up, I realised, that was something that was really important to me right now, or it's a priority, but I hadn't quite realised it. And so all I can say to you is, if you've been to a GP, if you've been to a specialist, if you've been to some kind of therapist, counsellor, business coach, and you're not getting the results you want or it's not working for you, then definitely give Red a call, because this therapy is just unlike anything I've ever experienced before.